Welcome to the construction site. I'm Ian. I'm finalizing the details for this building project. It's important that we get it right the first time. Even if no one will ever see some of the work we do, like the electrical wiring or pipes for plumbing, all the stuff on the inside of the walls, it's important we get it right. What's inside the walls is just as important as what everyone sees on the outside. You know, I've seen plenty of buildings that look really nice on the outside, but the heart of the building, all the details on the inside were actually a mess. And it was causing a lot of problems on the outside too. As I follow God, He reminds me how important my heart is. Now, my heart isn't made up of electrical wires and pipes like this building. When I talk about my heart, I mean the thoughts and feelings I have every day. But God wants us to follow Him. And that includes the thoughts we think and how we respond to the feelings we have. But what happens when our thoughts and feelings aren't good? When I have questions like this, I go to the Bible to find the answer. The Bible is God's true message to us about Himself. There's a man in the Bible named Jeremiah who was a prophet. God gave prophets messages to share with the people. The people may have looked good on the outside, but they weren't following God with their hearts. Let's look in the Bible and see what happened. Jeremiah told of a new promise. For many years, Jeremiah spoke God's message to the people of Judah. He reminded them that God had made a covenant, a special promise that if they obeyed God, He would bless them. But the people did not obey God. Each person instead followed his own heart and ignored God's commands. Jeremiah said the people of Judah had a sin problem, and this problem wasn't going away. It was permanent, like words carved into stone. And now, God had to punish their sin. God said the people would lose their land, their wealth, and their freedom. Jeremiah explained that people's hearts fool them into thinking they are better than they actually are. They trick people into wanting things or doing things God does not want for them. The people didn't want to listen to Jeremiah, and this made Jeremiah sad. He warned them that God's punishment was coming. But Jeremiah also said that God had a plan to change His people's hearts. God promised a new and better covenant so the people could be saved from their sins. Hold on. God had made a promise with His people called a covenant. If they obeyed Him, He would bless them. But like us, they had a difficult time obeying God. They followed their own hearts and wants instead of following God. Can you relate? Have you ever had a hard time following a rule when you just wanted to do your own thing? Sometimes we think we know best, but we disobey and break the rules, there are consequences. Jeremiah warned the people to change their hearts and gave them good news. And just like the people, we've been given hope, because God will forgive us too when we change our hearts to follow Him. Let's see what God said next. God told Jeremiah, "I will put my teaching within them and write it on their hearts," meaning they will always know and remember my commands. I will be their God, and they will be my people. They will all know me. I promise to forgive their sins, and nothing will break my promise. God would give His people power to obey His commands, and He would forgive them. God made a permanent covenant with His people, a forever promise that could never be undone. God promised never to turn away from doing good toward His people. He promised that He would help them choose to live in ways that would always honor God. At the beginning of this Bible story, it wasn't looking good for the people of Judah. They had chosen to do what they thought was best instead of following what God said was best. That is called sin. And because of sin, there were consequences. The people were separated from God because of their wrong choices. But God wanted to give the people a new heart that would seek to follow Him. He wanted them to be changed from the inside out. So, God gave Jeremiah words of hope to tell the people. God promised to forgive them and made a permanent promise to help them choose to live in a way that honors Him. Now, God wants our thoughts and feelings to follow Him too. He wants to make us new from the inside out. So many times we hear we should follow our hearts and do what makes us happy. Now, that might sound nice, but because of sin, our hearts want things that aren't part of God's plan for our lives. But when you experience the forgiveness of Jesus and trust Him, He gives you a new heart that helps you know Him, love Him, and live the way He created you to live. There may be times you struggle to follow God instead of following what you want, and you're not alone. The great news is that God promises to be with you and to help you choose God's way. He will give you the strength to obey and follow Him. All right, I better get these finalized plans to the team. See ya.